Hello my dear friends and welcome to my channel. Today I'm gonna do a book review and tell you about all these wonderful books that I have read during the quarantine. Yeah, it's a lot of books and some of them I'm still reading, so I'm gonna tell you briefly about all of them. So, do you like reading? As for me, I love it. Well, I should probably say I loved it, because ever since I learned how to read, I was reading non-stop, and I think that's why I wear glasses. But after I got registered on Facebook, like 10 years ago, I did not read that much. Why? Because Facebook took almost all my free time. So I kind of gave up reading, which is too bad. Well, if you remember life before Facebook, well, I remember that time. And back then, every time I had a free minute, I would grab a book and I would not put it down. I loved reading. I enjoyed it so much. Well, I kind of lost that. But during this quarantine, I'm so glad I have rediscovered my passion for reading, because I went offline for a few days and I turned all my social media off and I got these books and I enjoyed it and I remembered how much I loved it back when I was a kid or back when I was a student. So there is always something good even in quarantine. So for me, the silver lining is that I am enjoying reading again. If you have seen some of my previous videos, you know that I went to the farm and I stayed with my friends there for 6 weeks during quarantine. And at the farm, I had so much free time. So what do you do if you turn off your social media? I got the books. So the first book that I have read at the farm is this one. It's called 1000 Gifts. And it's pretty famous, by Anne Voskamp. So I think many of you have read this book. For me, it was so timely because I've been struggling with being grateful. So this book is about gratitude and about being thankful for every little tiny thing that God has given us. So if you are struggling with being grateful, that's a really good book for you. So after I have finished reading 1000 Gifts, this was the second book that I have read. And it's a biography. And I love biographies. So this is a biography of Joy Davidman. To be honest with you, I didn't know who she was until I started reading the book. And she was the wife of C.S. Lewis. So it's a very well written biography of this amazing woman. I loved reading it. So if you like C.S. Lewis and if you like biographies, I would recommend you this book. And if you enjoy biographies, just like me, I have 3 more good recommendations for you. So these 3 books all are autobiographies, and they are written by Christian women. Some of you might have seen them or read them, but I will tell you why I enjoyed them. The first one that I've read is I Give Up by Laura Story, and you might know her. She has amazing songs. I love her songs, and I enjoyed her book about her life and ministry and struggles. It was a good encouragement for you because it's all about surrendering. And that's another thing I've been struggling with, being grateful and how to surrender to God. The second autobiography, which I would like to recommend to you, is called Undone by Michelle Cochet. And Michelle is amazing. When I was reading this book, it's just so honest and open and vulnerable that you feel like you're not reading a book, but you feel like you're talking to a friend. That's how she makes you feel. And I have so many quotes which I loved about this book, but I don't want to read them all to you. I hope you should get the book, but I'm going to read you one thing that says here on the back cover. It says, sometimes life's greatest beauty shows up in life's greatest chaos. Michelle Cochet wanted a well-ordered life, peaceful, predictable, and happy, a life she could control. Don't we all want it? But I think none of us have ability to control our lives. So this is a good book if your life is a chaos, is full of unexpected things that you could have never predicted you would have in your life. So please read this book. I loved it. Do you have secrets that you are trying to hide from everybody? Or do you have stuff that you don't want anybody to know? And you think, oh, if you knew this about me, you wouldn't be my friend. Well, I guess we all have stuff like that. And the next autobiography by Jamie Ivey is exactly about that. It's called If You Only Knew. And she shares her story about some difficult and dark parts of her life that she was trying to hide for a long time. But finally, she is able to share it openly, honestly, vulnerably with every reader. And I'm just amazed by how openly she writes about struggles that she's been through. And she's encouraging us to share our dark secrets and stories to be free. So after I read the book, I found her on Instagram and I follow her now and I listen to her podcast. She's pretty amazing and very encouraging. So I think if you have some of those secrets and you really struggle with sharing them and being open about them, you should read this book and follow Jamie Ivey on her Instagram and listen to her podcast. So I'm done with biographies. The next book that I have read is fiction. Do you love fiction? I love it. I love Christian fiction. So I found this book. It's called Sensible Shoes. And I found out it's not just one book, but it's a whole series called Sensible Shoes series by Sharon Garlow Brown. And if you love Christian fiction, you should get this whole series of 4 books, because it's the best Christian fiction that I have read in my entire life. And believe me, I have read a lot of Christian fiction books. So the first book, Sensible Shoes, I can't even tell, it was amazing. I opened the first page and I couldn't put it down until I read 100 pages. So this whole book of 340 pages, I read like in 3 days, because it's like watching a movie. So you start, like binge watching Netflix, and you can't put it down because it's just so amazing. So Sensible Shoes is more than just a novel. It's a story about 4 women and about their spiritual journey, the journey of spiritual formation that I am on right now. So for me, I could really identify myself with one of those ladies, and she's like my alter ego, because we have so much in common. I'm in love with this character. And the book is not just telling the story of these 4 women, but also it gives some spiritual disciplines which you can practice. And I have practiced too, like the prayer of examen, or prayer with imagination, or a lot of other things. So if you're looking for a good book, fiction book, but also with good spiritual meaning, really deep book, I totally recommend you Sensible Shoes, because I am a big fan of this book. So after I finished this book, I got this whole series of 4 books, but I waited like 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks before I started reading the second book, because it was so good. I wanted to enjoy like the aftertaste of this book, the first one. So I finished the second book. It's very good too. So now I am on my 3rd book from this series, and I'm savoring it because I'm enjoying like it so much. So I'm so glad I have the 4th one. But I'm gonna save it for later. So get this whole series, you will not regret it. It's totally awesome. So these were all the books that I have read already during the quarantine season, and I'm gonna tell you a little about the books I am reading right now. So Michelle Cushet, the one who wrote the Undone memoir, she also has a wonderful devotional. It's called I Am, and it's really good. I'm doing it right now, and it's pretty amazing. Also, I love Jenny Allen. I'm sure you know her. And this book I am reading with one of my best friends, Melissa. And it's so good and so deep, but so easy to do together, because we read it and we discuss the chapters, and it has assignments. So if you are looking for a purpose in your life, or you're looking for your calling, you should get this book, and to answer the question, why am I here? So God, I'm sure, will help you find your purpose in life for this book. Very good. And there is another book that I'm reading with my mentor, Nancy. It's called The Gift of Being Yourself. And it's a really good book if you are on a self-discovery journey, as I am right now. So if you have questions about your true identity, you should really get this book. Very good. We haven't finished, but I'm enjoying it right now. And another book that I'm reading right now, yes, I have several books that I read at the same time, but these are really deep books, so it takes a while for me. So this one is called The Father Heart of God, and it's about accepting God as your Father. And it's really good and deep and has some practical questions too. as a part of my New Year's resolutions this year, I wrote that I want to read 12 books this year, so one per month. But then all of a sudden, the quarantine happened and I had a lot of free time, so I have read 7 books, so I'm halfway through my plan for the year already. And you know what's amazing? That I kind of forgot how much I enjoy reading. Because my life got so busy, you have so many things to do and so many people to see, and being a missionary always with people, and Facebook and Instagram, they take a lot of my time. So this slowed down season was so beneficial for me that I have rediscovered my love for reading, and I don't want to give it up. Even after the quarantine is over, I want to continue enjoying this blessing of reading the books. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't read a book for a while, just get one. Get one of these amazing books and start reading. You can choose either one, they're all really good. So I wanted just to share my recommendations with you all, and I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have questions about any of these books, or if you want to get more details about some of these books, please send me a message. I will be happy to answer your questions. So have a wonderful day or evening or morning whenever you're watching me. Enjoy it. God bless you, and come back to my channel for more videos.